Well, we had a good run of films. I was so positive, so many good movies towards the end of summer, and then there's Christopher Robin. A film that, well, it's not so sweet. Get it? Winnie the Pooh reference. Christopher Robin poses the question of, well, hey, how would Winnie the Pooh and friends fit in with Christopher Robin as an adult? You know, we're so used to seeing him as a kid, so it's interesting to kind of get that little bit of reimagining. It's nice. Well, at least it sounded nice on the surface. Ewan McGregor plays Christopher Robin, a boy who once had such an imagination, and now as an adult lives to work at a luggage company, and has done well to forget his past. His past includes Winnie the Pooh and Tigger, both voiced by Jim Cummings, and more friends like Owl, voiced by Toby Jones, and Eeyore, voiced by Brad Garrett. Brad Garrett. I just tried to do his voice from Everybody Loves Raymond. Moving on. Christopher soon finds himself reconnecting with Pooh, who needs help in finding all of his friends. Basically, the story is a man who needs to find his inner childhood because his wife, in this film played by Hayley Atwell, and his daughter are upset at him losing his way. He's so obsessed with his job and everything that he's lost that sense of love and freedom, and, you know, he's just kind of working and not living. Now, there are only a few things I did enjoy about the movie, and one of them happens to be the cinematography. Matthias Koenigsweiser is actually darn good behind the lens, at least in the first 30 minutes. Everything was pretty cool, you know, lots of rack focusing, and, you know, it was a very ominous tone. It felt like there was an overcast filter on the entire film, and everything felt very mature. So it was different. What I thought to be a cheery movie ended up being a more mature movie. But then it kind of goes into the whole nostalgia, funny, let's try to be lighthearted approach, and we'll get into the negatives, but that's when I didn't like the movie. Ewan McGregor's okay, you know, he's okay. Now, it sounds like a negative, but it's not a negative. It's just Ewan McGregor is just playing it very close to his chest. It's a safe role for him. He's not doing anything crazy. We've seen this before. He's just Ewan McGregor, so that can't always be a bad thing, but he's not that great in the movie. The wonderful thing about Tigger, and there are lyrics I forgot, and so and so and so. You remember that song, right? Yeah, well, there are decent callbacks to our favorite childhood songs from Winnie the Pooh. You know, the one about Winnie the Pooh wanting to eat food and everything, and of course Tigger bouncing and talking about himself. It's there, which is really cool. Really happened to enjoy it. It put a smile on my face. Now, hands down, the best performance of the film does not go to Ewan McGregor, doesn't go to Hayley Atwell, and it doesn't go to Jim Cummings. It goes to Bronte Carmichael, who plays Evelyn, the daughter of, well, Christopher Robin in this movie. Her performance is so good in this movie, and it was one of the only things I could say was better than just fine. Y'all can fight me on that one if you want. Come on, I'm putting on my non-existent gloves. Now, the list of negatives, I mean, look, I can nitpick at this movie, but there were some really glaring faults to this film. One of them is actually that it's just a boring movie. I mean, once we hit that midway point of the film, I'm being lulled to sleep. It's not fun. The jokes aren't funny, so they don't hit either. And I'm just left feeling a sense of, well, what could have been with this movie? Because the storyline, the pacing, everything is so off about the movie, and it just kind of gets tedious after a while. You just go through the motions. It's how to make a safe Disney film, the manual. That is exactly what director Marc Forster read before the movie. The film had 3 screenwriting credits, so 3 people worked on this movie, and sometimes that's fine, and other times you can feel that the film is almost divided into 3s, and that's what you feel like in Christopher Robin. You have the first half is very mature, it's serious, and then the second half is funny, and then that third chunk is supposed to be really like lighthearted, coming together, loving moments, and it's all just it's so overdone, and we've seen this before, and unfortunately those screenwriters do nothing to separate Christopher Robin from the rest of the pack. Sure, the CGI is pretty compelling sometimes, at least initially, but that feeling wipes away so quickly, and I'm left feeling blah. You know, it's just so meh. I just didn't really feel anything. I felt like, whatever, okay, we get it, let's move on, let's continue, keep the story moving. And then at one point I just didn't even care about the story anymore. So the movie itself is just not compelling overall. And unfortunately, like I said, I'm left with a heaping pile of what could have been with Christopher Robin. So the film, while it's not the worst film I've seen all year, it's just not good, you know? I just didn't think Christopher Robin would have been this film. I was really intrigued at first, and then I sat down, and for almost 2 hours, if not more than 2 hours, I'm left with some monotonous, overdone journey that I really had no interest in. Sometimes the film worked, most times it didn't. Did I hate it? No. Would I go out and see it? No. But I did, so like, funnier jokes would have helped. Lighthearted approach would have been great if it, you know, worked. And then the mature tone, I enjoyed that. It just it just, like, the film didn't care that the first half of the movie was serious and very mature and going into a more layered approach to Christopher Robin. The movie just kind of spiraled into a generic outcome, and the plot was just whatever. You know, I literally walked out of the movie theater and I thought, alright, I could have done without that movie this summer, and yeah, I just don't think that this movie's gonna do as well with audiences. Well, there you have it, guys. My, unfortunately, negative thoughts on Christopher Robin. I was positive a little bit, but I'm hoping that, you know, the rest of the year, we're getting into fall, is gonna be great. So as we move into fall, if you enjoyed what you saw here, please go ahead and subscribe, because there's gonna be more content coming. For this review, let me know what you think of Christopher Robin in the comments section. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the review. And please, guys, go to reflectthescreen.com for a lot more content that you won't see in front of the camera. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.